co-founded the first SlutWalk in Toronto, they rocked the world. If SlutWalk was only about the little word slut, it would be challenging enough because it holds different meaning for all of us. But sexual violence is like a great big umbrella. The statistics are so big and so bad that if we combine the people who have lived through it, the people who have chosen to do it, and the loved ones and connected community of both, the demographic is bigger than any other ism of divide that we can come up with on the planet. So you are a part of a large, I would call it a dubious honor, because being a part of this community is really, really painful, and you are a part of a large community. And make no mistake about it, we are here to stop sexual violence. That's what this is about. It's been one short year since SlutWalk DC, and I've got some incredible slut successes to tell you about. Come on! Slut successes? Come on! Okay, we've been in Madrid in Spain, we've been in Bogota, Colombia, we've been in Canada, Ecuador, Brazil, Israel, Nepal, Australia, New Zealand, India, the UK, Iceland, Hungary, Portugal, Scotland, Korea, Germany, France, Argentina, Hong Kong, and over 16 cities in the United States. We even had our first International Day Against Victim Blaming this year, and hopefully that day will stay a day that people come together forever. Except that my intention is to do something so that the sexual violence stops, and then maybe we don't have the need to come together in the same way. So here's the deal. Rapists choose to rape. Oh, that felt dead. Rapists choose to rape. It is a choice. We do not choose to be victimized, ever. But once we've lived through it, we have every choice about what happens next. And it doesn't necessarily feel like that, but we do. When things happen to us, we do not have a choice. How we make meaning of it, what we do with it after that, is ours. So I've got a story for you. Savannah Dietrich is a 17-year-old, and she is my new hero. She comes from Kentucky. She had an incident not too long ago where she drank until she passed out, and then she was violently raped by two men who took turns raping and filming. And then they tweeted the films, and they went everywhere. So, as you can imagine, they got arrested because they didn't even have to report. It was everywhere. What happened is that the judge made a deal and entered into a plea bargain without consulting her lawyer and without consulting Savannah. And part of the plea deal for these two rapists was that she would not talk about what happened. So here's an example of how we can make choice. Because what Savannah did instead was she tweeted the names Austin Zender and Will Frey to the world. And then they slapped her with a charge of contempt, and she was facing jail time and a big fine. And then people from all over the world came together and put so much pressure on the judge that they dropped the charges. So this is a choice that we can make. There's shaming and blaming and what we do with it, and then there's naming and claiming our experience. The antidote to shame and blame is naming and claiming the reality of our stories. The antidote to blaming the victim is accountability. The antidote to shaming the victim is accountability. The antidote to teaching rape prevention is teaching accountability. i.e., here's your translation, teaching not to rape. In order to be accountable, you have to be able to name the reality and the truth of your own experience. And you have to be able to claim it as yours, even if it's painful. Because the reality is that whatever happened has already happened. What we've got is the rest of our lives to live. And naming this truth about rape and sexual violence isn't pretty. And sometimes it hurts like hell. But we have to do it anyway. We know how to tell the difference between something that feels true in the moment and what I call true. There is no currency for hurt. Hurt just hurts. It doesn't matter if mine came first or lasted longer. Sexual trauma wounds, and we each have our own way of naming these scars. I have a name. My name is Andrea, and I am a survivor. And you all have names. Even rapists have names. It's hard to wear your name proud when you live in a culture that shames and blames you for things that you have absolutely no control over and that other people have chosen to do. Do you know that People magazine talks about rape as unspeakable? So how the hell do we name and claim our experiences when they're considered by mainstream media to be unspeakable? You know what we do? We say, I'm a survivor, and yes, it hurt me really badly. So I thought I'd try some chanting here. I'm not sure if it's going to work, but let's just try it. So, I'm going to ask a question, and you're going to yell back the answer. And guess what? Your answers aren't going to be all the same, because the stories for each and every one of us are different. So here's your first question. What is your name? That was great. Okay? Now let's try a really hard one. What is the name, if you have lived this, of the person who hurt you? Dr. Frank Irvin! I didn't hear very much. Okay, and now we're going to do this all together. We can name the names of the people that hurt us. They name their names. Why can't we? Without naming and claiming, we aren't all the way here. When we're not here, we don't need to be dealt with. With the statistics sitting at about 1 out of 3 and 1 out of 6, we need to be dealt with, and we need to be able to deal with each other. Sexual violence doesn't only hurt the people who have been victimized. It also shatters the innocence, beauty, and wonder of every single one of us. Okay, repeat after me. We will not be blamed.
We will not be blamed.
We will not be shamed.
We will not be shamed.
We will name names.
We will name names.
Because naming makes things real.
Because naming makes things real.
And it does. Yesterday, I got here a little bit early. I've come here from Boston, and I had an opportunity to take a really long walk around, I don't know, the central part of the city. And when I was walking, I had a vision. And I wanted to make sure that I had the definition correctly. So it's a vision. Vision is defined as something to be perceived with the eyes. And one of the things about denial is that denial makes it almost impossible to see or be seen. But anyway, I had this vision. Here we are in front of, I said it a little differently last year, but I have to say, it still looks the same. That looks like an enormous phallus to me. We are sitting in front of Washington Monument, and we're talking about sexual violence. And I walked by the Ronald Reagan building, which I don't know if any of you are as old as I am, but the Ronald Reagan building doesn't hold happy memories for me. But then I walked by the Holocaust Memorial, and I started to think. And I started to think how scary it's always been to talk about the kind of pain that happens out of violent rape, when there's always something worse that we can hold up as that something worse happened to somebody else. That's why I said, trauma doesn't have currency in that way. Hurting is hurting. And then I had my vision. And this is my vision. I want in Washington, D.C., which is supposed to be the center of America, I want a survivor memorial, and I think that we deserve it. We can name and claim, and with that comes accountability and truth. And with accountability and truth, we are able to honor the people who have lived through these horrendous series of events.